Hey everybody, it's Tim with Collect Jurassic, back with another news video update. Today we'll be talking about Primal Attack figures. So last time we did one of these videos, we were going over Amber Collection reveals, some new photos that we uncovered along with Jurassic Outpost. So today we're going to be focusing on Primal Attack, which is the main Mattel Jurassic World line. 2019 was Dino Rivals, and 2020 will be Primal Attack, which we first heard at San Diego Comic-Con. And we're going to be going into kind of the specifics of some of the new toys that have been unveiled courtesy of these lovely photos. And we'll start off here with Savage Strike. You can see this assortment photo here showing all of the figures. Again, I guess we should start off by saying, before we go too far, that all of these photos are preliminary, so things do change. So you'll see a Savage Strike Blue and Tape Jara here that may or may not be part of the final new wave, but the other figures here are really exciting. So we'll dive right in and take a look at each figure. But yeah, just something to keep in mind with all these photos in this video is that they are preliminary. So let's start off with, I think this is a Postosuchus, or could possibly be a Ornithosuchus. I say that because now, the paint coloration is very reminiscent of a Kenner figure that was canceled, that being the Jurassic Park Series 2 Ornithosuchus. Had a very similar paint coloration to this, but this is a Postosuchus, at least if it is based off the Mattel Mini Dino that was labeled as a Postosuchus, which it looks like it is, but it looks like it has a Savage Strike jaw feature and some really nice coloration. Next up, we have a Savage Strike Pachycephalosaur. So this is not a new mold. We've seen this one in the Legacy Collection line, as well as this year in the Dino Rivals Savage Strike. And I think we got a battle damage version, kind of retooled a little differently than this one. But another version of the Pachycephalosaur with sporting a new paint coloration, but nothing new. Just another brightly colored figure, though, so we appreciate that. But just another Pachycephalosaur to add to your herd. Next up, we have Sauropelta. We don't have a great shot of this. We had to kind of just zoom into the assortment photo, but Sauropelta is an Ankylosauride, kind of a unique looking one too, and Mattel's take on it is really cool. Really like the bright color on top and the separate plastic horns. I love when Mattel kind of does the separate horn plastic. It helps paint wear and helps those those elements on the figure really pop versus painted horns. Sorry about that. Next image is Sauropelta being dangled by someone, and it's kind of a funny press photo, but I think they're just kind of showing that its tail kind of moves its whole body, so showing how the Savage Strike figure works, but kind of a weird image that we got along with Sauropelta. We also have a Velociraptor. This is a repaint of the blue Savage Strike that came out last year, or this year, I guess, 2019 Dino Rivals, but a great mold for the Velociraptor. I'm glad they're repurposing it for this green raptor. I hope we get to keep seeing this mold in action, because next to the battle damage version of this figure, I think the Savage Strike is one of my favorites. I think it's just a great rendition of the Velociraptor. So new figure on the way in a green coloration. Next up, we're going to take a look at battle damage. Again, there's a Stygimoloch here, which we've seen in battle damage. It could be coming out, but let's instead focus on the three other figures. We have a Triceratops, a Velociraptor, and a mystery carnivore. And I'm not super well versed in dinosaur species, so I won't speculate what it could be, but definitely let us know in the comments what you think it could be. I did some cursory Google image search and nothing obvious came up, but it's cool to see the Triceratops mold coming back. This was a first release battle damage figure back when Fallen Kingdom came out. And they've really revisited it here with these wild colors that I really like. It's very vibrant, and it's a great mold. I wish it was bigger because battle damage is a little small, but at least it's finally getting another chance at being released. And it does have those separate molded plastic horns that I'm a big fan of. We also have the Velociraptor in sort of a grayish black color that's really cool. Another great mold for the Velociraptor. Not new, but this paint coloration is definitely new. Then we have that mystery carnivore, which I don't know what it is. Its hands are definitely unique. Obviously, has a battle damage figure. But I really like that it's got kind of a unique look compared to all the other carnivores we have in the Mattel Jurassic line. They're still kind of finding ways to make fresh designs for figures, and this one definitely feels that way. So hopefully these make their way to stores. I know battle damage has been pretty hard to track down in the United States in 2019, but hopefully that'll be different for these. Next up, we're going to take a look at I think these are the Sound Strike assortment of figures, which you can read about more what that means on collectjurassic.com and some of our other articles. But essentially, they're going to have some attack features and some sound features, sort of like dual attack upgraded with sound. But this first figure is Edmontosaurus, and I'm really excited about this one. This is one of my favorite reveals, probably in this video. Or at least tied for it with a couple other figures because there's so much cool stuff here. But Edmontosaurus looks so cool. The head, the coloration on the head, the way the crest really pops, just looks really, really vibrant and really nice and really exotic. And that's what I like most about, some of the more wild paint applications Mattel does with their figures, is it really feels very natural but also kind of like an exotic tropical bird, which if you watch my reviews, I know I mentioned that exact phrase a lot, but this Edmontosaurus perfectly embodies that. Next up is a figure that we saw at San Diego Comic-Con, but now we're seeing it in the flesh, or plastic rather, which is the Cryolophus, Arctic dinosaur, not technically living in the snow, but its bones were found in the Arctic. That's kind of an offshoot here, but the figure looks so cool. I really like this one. Again, one of my favorites. Really like the kind of yellowish coloring of it. The crest looks great. That separate molded plastic. The teeth are a little like they're kind of a little more scary looking, kind of like an Indominus Rex. Don't usually see such jagged teeth in Mattel figures, but it suits Cryolophus well. Again, this one will have sound and biting action and be sort of like a mid-range, like a Roarvor size figure. So if you can imagine, it'll be somewhere in that size range. But very cool, very excited to get a species. Cryolophus has always been a favorite of mine with that unique head crest, and it's brought to life here really well. We also have a box shot of this figure, which kind of gives you probably a better idea of what it'll end up looking like. It looks a little more bright in color here. This could be more of a final sample figure that we're looking at. Of course, we're looking at that wonderful Primal Attack packaging that I think everyone can agree is some of the best Jurassic toy packaging we've probably ever gotten, with the fence in the background and all that. But it kind of shows that the tail activates the figure. There's a roaring action. And of course, the figure itself just looks incredible in this final look at it. Next up, we have Triceratops. So this is the Soundstrike Triceratops. Probably similar to the Roarvor Triceratops, but maybe it has another action like the tail swinging or something, or you move the tail and the whole head moves. So it's a little bit of a retooled version of that figure, obviously with a new paint coloration. This one's pretty interesting. We've gotten a lot of Triceratops figures at this point, so I'm kind of surprised to see yet another one. They always seem like the figures that are sitting around on the shelf, at least where I go toy hunting, seems like the last figures to sell. So I'm kind of surprised to see yet another Triceratops already coming for the next year. But this is at least a unique paint kind of paint deco. I really like the blue-gray one that just came out from Mattel for Dino Rivals. Hard to beat that one, but again, this one's interesting. So I'll definitely give it points for kind of having a different take on the paint job, and kind of having a new, definitely a new paint job on the head, which you can see in the packaging here. Yeah, again, you can tell from the packaging how this works. You're going to move the tail, and the Triceratops' head is going to move all around. It's going to make lots of noises. So that's kind of Primal Attack's shtick this year, is kind of taking the best from Fallen Kingdom and the best from Dino Rivals and sort of mirroring them with action features and sound features. So that'll definitely be what's unique about this Triceratops, in addition to the coloration, is that play feature. Another Soundstrike figure we have to look at here is the Pteranodon, another figure that we've gotten quite a few versions of, whether it's the Roarvor's version or the Dual Attack version or the Destructosaurus version. It's kind of this size of Pteranodon. So this newest version obviously is going to have an all-new unique paint job, but I really like it. It reminds me of something kind of Jurassic Park 3-ish in a way. It's unique enough that I feel like, it warrants another figure. We have tons of Pteranodons created in Mattel's Jurassic World line, both at this size and kind of the smaller Attack Pack, Savage Strike size. So hey, what's one more Pteranodon, right? And what's unique about this one will obviously be that Primal Attack feature, which I can't really discern from the packaging itself or this photo what exactly will be different about this compared to like the Dual Attack version or the Roarvors version, but it does have two buttons on its back. And if you look at the photo instead, it does look like there's some sort of beak chomping, swinging action. So allegedly, it'll have kind of a different action than previous versions of this figure. And you can see here the paint coloration on the top of the wings is really, really cool. Not something you can see in the other photos, but you can definitely appreciate that here. But that about does it for Soundstrike, and we're going to have another look here at this next figure that we've seen before, but this is another view of it, and that's the Extreme Chompin' T-Rex repaint, and that repaint being Bite and Fight colors. So this is a figure that we've talked about at length before it even existed, and now that it exists, we've talked about it too. Another Tyrannosaurus Rex figure, another Extreme Chompin' version of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but does have this definitive paint job. The Bite and Fight paint job is definitely something that's resonated really well with fans of Jurassic Park because the paint coloration is very reminiscent of that version of the T-Rex. And this photo right here, you can tell how faithful the T-Rex looks with this paint job. Just looking at the face, it just looks more of a Jurassic Park T-Rex than anything the other Jurassic World figures have given us. The Bite and Fight figure obviously has the mouth open all the time, but this one will have that articulation, which is really cool. Let's go ahead and go over to Massive Biters. This one's very exciting. So we have seen the Tarbosaurus before. There was a photo that we shared on the website of it in packaging. So this is the figure out of the packaging for you to appreciate. And I gotta say, I really like it now that I see it out of the box. I was a little underwhelmed with the way it looked in the box. Understandably, it was a very early photo, but it just looked a little generic. But from this angle anyway, I really like the way it looks. It feels like very, almost like a paleo artist painting version of a carnivore. The head looks really unique. The detail is there throughout the body. You can really tell there's a lot of detail here. And again, it's just sort of a unique take on another bipedal carnivore from Mattel, but it feels different. It feels, more accurate to science, and as much as you can be with a dinosaur toy. But I really like this figure, so I'm really excited about it, and it looks way better than it did in the first few shots of it. So I'm excited. Next one, I think a lot of people will be excited for, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. I know it's not a dinosaur. People have already told me that. It's a prehistoric alligator, or maybe a prehistoric alligator or a crocodile, but it's a Sarcosuchus or Sarcosuchus. Again, my apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I know this is one people were very excited about at Comic-Con when they released all the silhouettes of all the figures that were coming out. This was one that people were very excited about. And then, of course, we've got the species name confirmed a few weeks ago when we were able to publish some system information for the Massive Biters line on our website. Now you can actually see the figure here. I really like it. The eye is a little kind of plain Jane for me, but everything else I really like about the figure. The coloration that definitely has some really cool scaling, and I'm excited to see kind of how the biting feature works on this one. So very cool. Finally getting a look at this figure that everyone's probably going to be scrambling to find. And we'll close out the video with another familiar face, this being the Control and Conquer Carnotaurus. Again, we've seen this one in some early images, but now we can really see it at a better resolution here. It's a retooled, slightly repainted version of the Action Attack Carnotaurus. There's a grayer belly, the eye looks a little different, and of course you have that all-new Primal Attack action feature, which we actually saw a video of at San Diego Comic-Con. It allows total control of the figure. And we have the packaging photo here too. You can kind of see how you can move the tail and rotate it, and the Carnotaurus is going to thrash and bite and make a bunch of sound. So very cool. This is like the only figure in this assortment right now is the Carnotaurus, so it's kind of its own thing, but definitely one of the signature figures for Primal Attack that people will be tracking down, as Carnotaurus is a popular species. So that was quite a marathon of toy talk we just did for this reveal, but there's tons of stuff coming. As you can see, we probably revealed pretty much all of the line here, but we know there's still a few surprises on the way. Some big, very exciting surprises, but definitely got a bigger look for Primal Attack than we ever have before. So this stuff should start hitting stores, and I guess later this year and early next year, but you can also pre-order it right now on Entertainment Earth, which will link in the video description. But that's all I got for you for today. So thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic, and be sure to look at the full gallery on collectjurassic.com.